19 days. 19 days is all that we have left until we crown a new leader of the free world. That's pretty powerful. And after last night's third and final presidential debate, my question for the undecided voters: how on earth can you still be undecided this late in the political game? And I shouldn't even call it a game, because it's really not a game when you have so much affecting us as a whole. How can you, as an undecided voter, still not know who to put your vote to? The common themes I keep hearing: Hillary Clinton's unlikable, Donald Trump is unlikable, I gotta pick the lesser of the two evils. Well, after 3 debates between them, I think it's a clear-cut choice who's the monster, who's unfit, who can't handle something ginormous as being the president of the free world. As much as people despise Hillary, yes, she's a liar. She may not be the most likable human being in the whole entire world, but when she's going up against Donald Trump, how can you not vote for her? I just don't understand. It baffles me to the nth degree that people are still undecided, especially after listening to last night's debate, which I thought was the best debate of all 3 of their debates. A lot of questions were answered, a lot of policy talk, a lot of talk on abortion, the economy, terrorism. I mean, so much was covered last night that I think Americans now should get a better, clear-cut picture of who they should vote for. This election cycle has been mentally draining for everyone. We're all waiting for November 8th for this to be over with. Okay, I mean, as much of a political junkie that I am, I gotta say, I'm pretty drained out. I just can't understand people still not knowing who to vote for. And I keep seeing it on Twitter, on Facebook, other social media websites. People are still undecided. And it's like, how can you still be undecided when one person is clearly cut out to be the president of the United States, and one person is clearly unfit to be anywhere near the White House? But it remains to be seen. I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to say it's going to be a slam dunk victory for Hillary Clinton. No way. I'm still nervous. I'm very afraid that there's a lot of Trump supporters out there that I like to call them closet case supporters. They're not going to openly say in public they're voting for Trump, that they like Trump. They're going to wait to go into that voting booth and then vote for him and not tell people they're doing that. And that scares me right there, because we may get a lot of that. Trump clearly said last night that he's not going to basically accept the outcome if he loses. That's a pretty big statement he made, because our country, as you all know, is extremely divided as it is. So whoever wins, their supporters of the person that doesn't win, they're going to be extremely upset as it is. So let's say, for example, if Donald Trump does lose, what is he telling his supporters? He's not going to tell them, you know what, we got to accept this outcome. Hillary's our president. We got to go forth and move on as a country. He's not going to do that. He has worked up and amped up his supporters so much. He whipped them into this frenzy that basically he has set it up to where when he does lose, he's got his excuse of the media being rigged and the election being rigged and everyone's against him. He got all his bases covered for the excuses. But where does that leave his supporters? They're going to be angry, hurt, disappointed. They may want to lash out. I'm very, very worried about November 9th, because the day after this election, how are people going to handle the results? Last night's debate was telling. Clearly, to me, Trump was all over the place. He couldn't. People said, well, maybe he had a great 20, 30 minutes start of the debate. I didn't really see that because he was all over the place. Didn't make sense about Aleppo. Talking about Mosul. He doesn't know. I mean, his strongest suit is the economy. And even with that, just because he was a businessman, how can he promise people jobs? Like, he doesn't ever get into details of what he's going to do. Where is the detail? Where is the substance? I don't ever see that from him. And I want to see that from him so I can know what he's all about. But he doesn't show his cards. And that makes me worry. Time and time again, we hear him praise Putin. And then last night, he gives a praise to Assad. Two people considered dictators, two people that a lot of people don't respect. Yet, when have we ever heard Donald Trump say anything respectful about American leaders? Besides Ronald Reagan, which he's tried to talk about from time to time, but really, he has never said anything nice about his own government, about his own people, and that's very telling as well, too. We got two big comments that he made last night. One, when addressing Latino people, he talked about getting the hombres out. The first words of Spanish Donald Trump ever uttered in this election is the word hombre. Now, to all my Hispanic friends out there, and to just Hispanic people in general, because I am half Puerto Rican, my question for you is, why aren't you fired up about this election? I've seen Hispanic people here and there, they're worked up, they want to go against Donald Trump, but then you also have this core group of Hispanics for Trump. And then you have other Hispanic people that just don't care. And I'm talking about my people, Puerto Rican people, and Dominicans as well, too. They just don't seem to care about Donald Trump. Just because he's talking about Mexicans doesn't mean he's not talking about you as well either. He's just focusing on the word Mexican and the Mexican people. But I'm sure he means that for all Hispanics. Now, there's a separate issue going on with that, which I will address later on. But I need to see more fire from the Hispanic people. I need to see people outraged, wanting to protect their community and their culture from this man, because he doesn't have your best interests at heart. Disabled people, military veterans, women, gay and lesbian people, you name it, African Americans. He has managed to offend so many core groups of people, yet he expects us to vote for him. I just don't understand that logic. And if I'm having a hard time understanding it, imagine how other people are. I just can't wait for this election to be over with, because we as a country, we have a lot to work on. Granted, whoever becomes president, they got their work cut out for them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a really rough 4 years, because that person is going to have to somehow get everyone on board to be a team when we know that's not going to exactly happen. But it's so important to go out there and vote. Don't think that your vote don't count, because this time it really, really does. People that want to vote a third party, you have your choice to do that. Yes, there's 4 people running for the president of the United States. But ask yourself this: is this election the time to vote for a third party? When you have someone like Donald Trump so close to getting into the White House, a man like that in power, the Supreme Court justice picks are at jeopardy. So much is at jeopardy for our country. Are you willing to risk that? And it is fearful. It is a scare tactic in the sense I'm saying, because it's scary what can happen if this man gets the power that he wants. And I'm hoping, seriously hoping, that we get a large voter turnout this year, and a message needs to be sent so Donald Trump doesn't think this election is rigged. He needs to get defeated by a landslide, and I hope it happens.